I decided to jump from 7th to 10th. I wanted to save a lot of time and do a lot of things and achieve a lot of ambitions basically. When I was at 11th and 12th, I used to teach children. I didn't have a set agenda. What motivates people, what hinders them basically, and a very deep empathy and connect with the people and the training that I was given. It's more than just, hiring people, firing people, and conducting a couple of surveys. We are the people custodians. If there are no challenges, it becomes very mundane. If there are no differences of opinion, there is nothing. Nuclear family setup, there are difference of opinions that we actually see on a daily basis.
Hi, Namaste, welcome to ITTV. Today is our special guest, very inspiring personality. Her journey starting from Jet Airways, now in Abhibus as a Vice President HR. So throughout her journey there may be a lot of challenges she overcome, and there are a lot of insights we can get from her which will be helpful for the successful career in our lives. So the whole interview will be very interesting. Let us get into the interview. Hi madam, welcome to ITTV.
Hello Andy.
So before we get into your career journey, let us start with your childhood and your education and your family background.
So I lived all my life in Hyderabad and I studied in Hyderabad. I wanted to save a lot of time and do a lot of things and achieve a lot of ambitions basically in a very little time. So I decided to jump from 7th to 10th, and I did so. I came first in school and I passed with flying colors, and then I wanted to pursue engineering. So I was actually working when I was at 11th and 12th. I used to teach children, school students basically. I used to give tuitions after college and come back and then study, and then I wanted to pursue engineering. I did so. I gave MSET and got good rank, but then I didn't want to. I changed my mind because I didn't want to do instrumental. I wanted to do computer science, and hence I joined AppTech, pursued some courses and things like that, and then I decided to pursue MBA. I completed MBA. I have dual degree of MBA, one from Intercontinental University and one from ICBM. Those are dual degrees that I have in marketing and HR both. So that's how I started my career. And
so in your school education, after completing 7th, you went into directly 10th class. So is it only because of you, or is there any encouragement from your parents?
My parents have always been big time supporters. Whatever I've decided, they've always been with me. And good, bad, whatever decisions I take, they always give me the liberty to take those decisions and believed in me. I think that's a very important aspect when during parenting. Me as a parent also, I kind of get very, very overprotective about my children. But then my parents have actually given me the liberty, given me the confidence, given me the strength that they're there behind me for whatever decisions I take, whatever situations I get into. They've always shown me a way out.
They are from which background?
My dad has done several businesses. He's done dairy farm. He had the biggest nursery in Hyderabad. He's done a little bit of real estates. He did plottings and things like that. And my mom has always been very enterprising as well. She's done in her limited capacity. She's always worked. She supported the family, and we've sailed through different situations because of her strength and commitment towards whatever she's decided to do and however she wanted to actually bring us up. And so she used to work too. She had run her own business. She was in the fabric side where she used to do printing, rolling and all of those things as well.
So during your either school days or in your college days, what is your goal at that time? How is your thinking patterns?
My thinking has always been to the tune that I wanted to work, I wanted to do. It's not about what I really wanted to do. I didn't have a set agenda, but I wanted to, whatever I do, I wanted to make it big. I've always been independent. Like I mentioned, I started working at a very young age. I started working from when I was 14, and that's how my thought process has been. Whatever I wanted to do, I wanted to excel in what I do, and I wanted to be extremely independent, and I wanted to reach greater heights in whatever I decide to pursue, basically. It's not like, as a child I wanted to become a doctor and then ended up being an HR head. That's not what it is. I've always, set a direction for myself.
So you have a big dreams from your childhood itself. So at that childhood, what are your favorite or who are your inspiring personalities?
It used to change. I mean, my choices were very, very dynamic. And as a child, your parents always tell you that, you need to be like them. So that set a particular direction at one point. And then when I was more self-sufficient and, more, I had a thought process of my own, that's when I decided that, that's not what it is. I used to read a lot. I used to read a lot of books, basically. And I used to derive my options of, personalities and heroes from that particular, from those books. So that way I used to make choices, and I used to really look up to those standards. And good or bad, whatever decision I've taken, I've never regretted any of those.
So what kind of the books you read in your childhood?
A lot of fiction I've read. Ayn Rand is my favorite author. Fountainhead, what really inspired and got me hooked on to reading. That's my favorite book as well.
So coming to your career, after your MBA, how you started your career, like where you started your career?
I started my career even before completing MBA. While during the first year break, basically after your second semester, you have a long break, right? During that time, I was looking for a part-time job. Though I continued to give tuitions, I used to work for an institution where I used to teach English to children, spoken English classes to the adults, and so on and so forth. But then during the break after MBA first year, I was looking for a part-time job. That's when a friend of mine told me that there is an opening in Jet Airways, and I attended the interview. I got the job. I started training, and I was still pursuing MBA. I used to go do 3 to 11 shift in Jet, and then come back to college by 11:30, and then I would continue my education, basically. So I have a very strong background, a very diverse background that helped me with a very strong foundation in terms of my career in human resources overall.
So in Jet Airways, what is your role?
I was a flight assistant.
So you traveled in that time?
Yes, I traveled as well. The first 6 months I didn't travel much. I was training, and while training, the training was for about 6 months, and I used to continue taking classes, and then I used to, and then the fourth semester was all about the theses, about completing your project work. I completed the project work also in Jet Airways. So that's how I submitted the projects and all of that.
So when you're working in Jet Airways, there may be a different kind of very special training you may receive at that time.
Yes.
So they will give you clear understanding about how to receiving the people, how
Absolutely.
to handling the people,
Absolutely.
how to handling the teams.
Absolutely, totally.
So coming back to your career after your MBA, what is that path you chosen first?
See, that, like I mentioned, because of this diverse background and my experience as a flight assistant combined with the MBA degree, that actually opened a lot of options for me, and also a very genuine interest in people dynamics, people processes, and practices, such as, whatever they talk about, such as the what motivates people, what hinders them, basically, and a very deep empathy and connect with the people, and the training that I was given. That helped me align my career in HR, basically. And eventually that kind of considering the background and the skill sets and the aspirations that I actually grew in this time, I found opportunities in HR such as talent acquisition, employee relations, organization development, training and development, to now the HR management. All of that is because of the background that I come from.
So most of the people, even like me, think HR job is a very cool job. They just recruit and pass the time happily. Is it true, or is there anything challenging?
Well, I think HR as a whole does lot more than hiring, firing, and a couple of NPS surveys and things like that.
So as you said, HR is not only hiring and firing. Implementing the culture is most challenging
Yes,
thing.
reinforcing the culture, and we are the people custodians. We drive culture for an organization, and that defines what people want, what people do, and how the perspective of the organization, the outer look of the organization is defined by the people. An organization is not about is not about the assets that you hold in the organization. It's about the people that you actually interact with. They are the representatives of your brand, right? And we are the custodians of those representation about the culture, the reinforcement of the value system, whatever your vision and the mission of the organization is. HR systems are aligned in line with those vision and mission of the organization, and we drive those vision and mission of the organization.
So driving the culture, implementing these policies, procedures, process, very challenging. Because even though change is inevitable, change is permanent, there will be a lot of resistance always.
Yes.
So how do you handle that resistance?
Resistance is, I think it's important. If there are no challenges, it becomes very mundane. And challenges are what a way of life is. And I think it is extremely important for us to understand what people want, take the buy-in, set a process around the change. If you actually involve people, you involve them in the decision making, in the key decision making, before you bring in the change, what kind of change is required, what is that people want. If you really understand that and involve them into the decision making process, when you're implementing the change, there are no surprises. They wouldn't really be surprised. They wouldn't be really, there wouldn't be any resistance. I think it is extremely important that that is what is called inclusion. Inclusion is the key here. When you bring people on board, they will be the factors for the change. They will be the custodians of the change then. And that is when it becomes seamless.
So rather than enforcing the rules or processes,
absolutely,
if you involve the whole team.
Yes, inclusion is the way, is what I feel.
So this is the best way, I think. There won't be a surprises for them.
Exactly.
And also, one more biggest challenge is, it's always whenever there is a group of people working, there is a disturbances.
Yes.
Sometimes some of the key people will be there in the team. We don't want to lose as an organization. But because of these team disturbances, it will be very challenging. That pressure definitely comes to HR only. So is there that kind of situations in your journey?
Absolutely. People dynamics are the most crucial aspect of handling HR. So I think dispute handling is a very important key factor in HR. Problem solving and resolution of these grievances and difference of opinions are big challenges. And if there are no challenges, it's not possible that you do not have challenges. Even in a small nuclear family setup, there are difference of opinions that we actually see on a daily basis. When you're handling a large organization with hundreds and thousands of people, that ought to happen, and they will be. That is when I think you come up with the best solutions, creative solutions to the problems that we are facing. So we have these little ship room discussions where we have a group of people who actually come together, brainstorm, and then they come up with questions, answers, solutions, and also those are the most innovative ideas they come out with. These channelizing these energies and discussions with right process and procedure is what our job is. So we add more value than just hiring and firing people. We do bring in this kind of process to the entire mayhem and chaos in the organization. And that's what problem solving, your analytical skills and your people management skills, understanding, like I mentioned, people dynamics is the most important aspect of HR, and that's what I think people, processes and procedures and dynamics. These are my strengths. These are what I've actually grown up learning, basically.
One more biggest challenge is everybody want the best hike.
Who wouldn't? Wouldn't you want it? Wouldn't I want it?
So it is not always possible to satisfy each and everyone in the organization. There may be limitations to every organization.
Absolutely.
So how to handle this situation?
See, every organization, this time of the year, especially around April, we are on our toes to actually figure out the right numbers. We receive a certain budgetary approvals from the head office or from the board, and then we actually do our calculations. But then to be able to arrive at the right numbers, you need to have the data. Your data should speak for itself as to what your numbers should be. So what we do is, the process that I've set up is, on a quarterly basis, we assess the KRAs, the key responsible areas, and the indicators, the performance indicators on a quarterly basis. We get the data together on a quarterly basis, prepare what the goals are, and then evaluate what their performance has been. So this way, for the first 4 quarters that we have, all 4 quarters data is actually pulled in together, and then we arrive at who's been able to do what. That way there are no surprises. Your performance is this and your number would be mapped to this. So there is nothing that we do out of the blue. There are no surprises. Like I always mentioned, if your communication is clean, if your process is set, and there are no surprises, you don't see a lot of unhappy faces. So the key is you do this on a quarterly basis and give them the right feedback at the right time. So there is time for people to pull up their socks if the performance is not appropriate or not to the standards that the goals are set, and there are any deviations in any of that. They're given ample of time to revisit what they need to do, what are the areas of improvement. They should be able to understand and work on their weaknesses so that they know where they are. So when we give them the numbers, they are aligned. But having said that, there are some performers, there are your A-listers who are on top of the game. We do everything possible to actually retain them. There are people who are important for the project or for the team. We also do something to actually retain them at any cost. There are people who need to really, they need to up their game. We give them the feedback, and then we also talk to them as to why they've not received the kind of, the best appraisal possible.
So that they can try to improve their...
Exactly.
So if I ask you, what are those some of the key performance indicators so that everybody will aware and they can try to improve themselves?
It is different for each of them. It is not one size fit all. So for HR it is different. For marketing it is different. For technology it is something different. So these performance indicators are discussed on a quarterly basis depending on your function, on your roles and responsibilities, on where you stand. No two people in the same team would have the same key performance indicators as well, most often or not. Like for example, my recruiter to my HR operations person, they do not have the same KPIs. But in the technology division, they can be, because there are set of people who do the same function on a daily basis. They perform the same things. However, it is not one size fit all. So I cannot really discuss what their key performance indicators need to be. It depends on their experience, their responsibilities, their roles, and then the technology that they're working on, and so on and so forth, or the function they belong to.
So, if it is this situation, any employee, I definitely want best hike by this year end. So, can I approach my HR and ask what are the key performance indicators in this organization, so that I can be aware of and I can do my best?
Absolutely. Whether they approach me and they ask me or not, right at the time of joining, we provide them with the KPIs that they need to be really working on. So their KRAs and KPIs are set right at the beginning, and depending on that, their performance linked incentives and their bonuses are linked to that. If they do not achieve those, they will not be able to earn that to the end of the year. So right at the beginning, whether they approach us or not, it is our job to actually work with the team, with the respective team heads, and provide them with the necessary key performance indicators and the responsible areas.
If anyone don't know about what are the key performance indicators of this organization where they are working,
yes,
if they know and if they are aware of it, definitely they can
that's
perform.
Good. Yeah.
So coming to the training is one of the key area. So most of the people nowadays, they got awareness. If I get the training, definitely there will be a change in my life, change in my career journey. Showing interest to know, to explore. So how do you handle that? Because when definitely resources will be always challenging. Everybody you cannot send to the training programs.
Yes. So during the performance reviews, these quarterly reviews that we actually conduct on a quarter, we identify skill gaps amongst people, amongst resources. So we know what are the skills that we need to be able to complete certain tasks, certain projects. We know the skills that are required to accomplish these projects on time, and these are the resources that we have, and these are the resources that we do not. So we will identify those skill gaps on a quarter basis and make sure they are trained on those skills that they really require. Somebody wants to, at the same time, we also have a process of succession planning. So these succession plannings, when we do, then also we know some of these resources who need to be taking up the next step towards their success, next step in their career. So next step in terms of their growth. So these succession plannings, when we do, we also identify those resources who need to be taken to the next level. So each employee in the organization has a set career path that is defined. For them to go to the next level of their career, we know what are the trainings that are required, what are the skills that are required for them to actually move to the next level in the career ladder. So we actually provide them whatever is required. So there are set times that are actually allocated for them on a quarterly basis or half-yearly basis. There are yearly training and development calendars that are prepared by the HR. These learning programs are imparted to them on a yearly basis. So whoever is joining the organization, they will be assigned a particular training calendar, and they need to complete it in that set period. On a year-on-year basis, those change. So they should be able to complete that to be able to move to the next level of the career. If they do not, then there is a problem.
So process should be set from the beginning.
Right at the beginning, yes. So that you don't really give them chance for any surprises later, and there is no deviation in terms of what is actually planned for the year for them. So right at the beginning, if there are any needs, there is, for example, during your appraisal cycle, there is a problem and they need to be really upskilled. Then there is scope for us to be able to actually add that as well aspect into their career progression planning.
So coming to enterprises, even employees. Processes are changing, technologies are changing very fast.
Yes.
Everybody has to compete with the global employee or global enterprises. So in this scenario, how you make sure your employees, your teams, everybody is on an up to date to handle the things in the better way?
My team, I always tell them one thing: think global, act local. So the technologies that are really, if you do not really upskill yourself to the latest technologies, say for example, we used to do a lot of manual process when I started my career back in the time. Today there is automation for everything. So we have, ATS that we have actually, we've implemented. We have different HRMS tools. We have performance management tools. We have training and developmental tools. We have engagement platforms. We have these survey platforms that actually we utilize on a month-on-month basis. And also today AI has really caught up so much so that it's very, very easy for us to do a lot of tasks. So you need to really utilize these tools to be able to get best productivity in line right now. If you want to improve your productivity, you need to be up to date. You are desirable. You are on top of your game. You are the best at what you're doing. Then you should adapt to technology. So whatever we do today has. We need to submit a lot of dashboards to the board, to the leadership, to the management. Technology is used at every step of the way today.
So the decision making process is also will be
is easier, and it's unbiased. It's not driven. It's driven by numbers. It's not driven by gut feelings. It's not driven by hearsay. It's not driven by what people think or feel.
So AI, how it would be AI role in HR? Like what kind of changes we see in near future?
Okay, in a rapidly growing landscape today, HR strategy is the key, and AI is playing a very important role in all of this, and we have adapted it to the T possible, in the sense that we do a lot of surveys, understanding what people want, be it the feedback about how they were interviewed, how they were onboarded, how they were treated the first 1 month, first 3 months, first 9 months, and first 1 year. We do a lot of interactions, we do a lot of surveys to understand the people pulse, and to be able to arrive at a very holistic picture of what they want and what they are talking about. We use AI in interpreting the entire data. We also use AI in terms of employee satisfaction surveys, in terms of data collection, in terms of applicant tracking system. We have applicant tracking system where we receive a lot of responses for the job postings we do, for the applications we are seeking. So what kind of applicants we are receiving, what kind of data we need. We use all these tools to be able to get the best results and also have unbiased data in there.
In whole, it will handle the data, it will collect the data, it will engage the different levels.
Absolutely.
And also it will gives you the best analytics.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And coming to the jobs, is the HR jobs is going to get down due to AI?
AI doesn't generate the data. It doesn't input the data by itself and analyze the outputs, right? In all of this, human resources is a very deeply human kind of a role, in the sense that you need to have a lot of interactions with people that the AI cannot do. In all of this that we are doing, there is a human angle to it. There is a human touch to it. It's a very, it requires you to analyze the importance of people very, very deeply. It's a deeply connected human role, basically, in the sense that you can be doing a lot of things. AI can be doing a lot of things. that empathy, the problem solving, the kind of interactions that we can actually have with the employees, they cannot.
Yeah, and definitely AI cannot go to that level at any
Yes.
cost. It's almost all, there is no possibility
Yes.
to that level. But at the beginning, AI bot can reach to the databases.
Yes, absolutely.
It can send the notifications to the
Absolutely.
job seekers. And
Yes,
it even
yes.
take the first round of the interview.
Absolutely, it can do the basic screening of the job description against the CV. That's all it can do. It can pick the right resume for the right job. But post that, you need to evaluate if whatever they have written in the CV is what you want. Is
Decision
it appropriate or not?
Yeah,
Yes.
decision definitely management team
Yes.
has to take.
Absolutely.
But junior resources, where if you need 10 people in your organization, now with AI you can complete all those tasks with only one or two people.
In a way, I would agree to that. We can utilize this AI to actually fast pace the kind of job that we would be doing. However, analyzing all these CVs, yes, I think we can do away with like a screening resource we used to hire. We used to hire a lot of coordinators to do these interviews. These basic things can be accomplished with the AI, I think.
So coming back to your journey again, you have a very big, long journey, very inspiring journey. There might be a lot of mentors in your
Absolutely.
journey. So some of those who inspired you.
Well, I must say, I have at the beginning of my career in Jet Airways, my boss was a great inspiration. He really encouraged me and supported me so much so that I could really I could really balance education and work parallelly together. That is because of his cooperation and because of his his support that I've been able to accomplish that. He has been a great source of inspiration for me. And also I have another mentor who till date I go back to him for most critical decisions when it comes to my career is concerned. So he was a scientist, and then he moved to taking up a role in HR, and he predominantly works in the pharma companies. He's a very senior person in the HR fraternity is concerned, and we have a lot of deep conversations, one-on-one mentorings and coaching he does. And if I have to make a career decision or a choice, he supports me in all of this.
So is it mandatory to reach greater heights in anybody's career or life?
For you to actually, a mentor is important because mentor already knows that he's gone through there, he's been there, done that. He will help you not make those same mistakes that he's done in his career, and he also will show you a set direction so that you don't really take as much time in achieving your path. In fact, I think you can achieve it much smoother and without a lot of mistakes, basically. And also the fact that he would share his experiences with you, he would share his learnings with you, and that is important for you to actually learn from. And he's already done that, so you don't really have to reinvent the wheel. Though you have your own learnings, you make your own mistakes and learn from it, but then a set guidance is important, and a set direction is important. And it's always good to actually speak to somebody who's senior. You would do that in your office probably. You have a lead, you go back and ask him for certain information, certain things that are important. But at the same time, I go back to my mentor for certain key decisions that I take. I think you can benefit from his learnings, from his experiences, from his stories. Basically, he's a success story today, so you can learn a lot from him.
So we don't need to reinvent the same wheel.
Yeah.
You can we no need to do the same mistakes.
Exactly. You can probably do a new mistake and learn from it, and then you tell your next generation that you don't do this anymore.
So mostly it will reduce the time period.
Your learning curve is better that way. You don't you know what where you're headed. You have a lot of clarity where you're headed.
So this is also something, it is there from the olden days, ancient
Absolutely,
times.
that's what I was going to come to. Yes.
Most of the people who want to reach the great heights, they are looking for the mentors.
Yes.
They are trying for the best mentors. But again, one more challenge is how to find the best mentor or perfect mentor who can help us.
You need to see what kind of journey you want. So I was lucky to actually get such amazing people in my life, and I think I made the right. It's not like I chose my mentor, or it just happened. I know that he has that kind of experience. He has got a very different background. He's been a scientist, and then he's been in the HR for about 25-30 years right now, and he's been there. I was really his knowledge is very, very aspiring. Whatever he's done in the past has a lot of stories about what he's done, how he's been successful. He's led organizations through change management, through his project management skills, and a lot of great heights he's taken them to. So all these success stories, when you actually look at, it's very inspiring. So you take inspiration from that, and then you think that you should seek guidance from somebody who's as experienced as him. And that's how I've taken my decision.
Through your whole journey, there may be a lot of people you helped, like you give an offer in training, or you helped them to overcome their challenges. They may showed gratitude to you. So is there any such kind of situations where you felt I am really in a right track, doing right in domain? So is there any that kind of
See, you do that on a daily basis in HR, because people come to you. When I actually there's a forum that I host on alternate Wednesdays in the office, where it's called AMA HR, Ask Me Anything HR. So a lot of people come, ask and talk about what they're going through, some of the challenges that they're facing in terms of personal life, in terms of professional life. They have a lot of challenges that they go through in office. There are a lot of they talk about some of the inequalities, some of the disrespect related issues that they actually talk about, some of the very sensitive topics that they discuss about. You help them overcome those things. That kind of gives you a lot of satisfaction. You go back home with a great sense of satisfaction that you've done the right thing for them and you've supported them. Otherwise, there were people who wanted to end their career then, because they didn't think that they could actually survive a particular situation in the team, or survive a particular situation because of a particular person as well. So you make those changes, you bring in those changes, you bring in that kind of support from them, you stand up for them.
so that gives you a lot of motivation and even satisfaction for
Absolutely, absolutely. That really gives you a reaffirmation that you're doing the right thing.
So now you are in Abhibus as a vice president. So how is the culture there? What is the special uniqueness in Abhibus?
Uniqueness in Abhibus is that we talk about the longevity here, and we take pride in talking about the longevity. See, I'm probably one of those few people who've not completed a decade. So people talk about half a decade, or 1.5 decade kinds. That's what is very, very inspiring to see, that people believe in the company, believe in the goal that the company is actually trying to achieve, believe in the vision of the founder of the company. I joined Abhibus because I believed very strongly in the founder, his vision, his mission. And the culture is set by us. by us leaders who are working with this company for years now. It is us who define this culture. Our culture is very, very dynamic, very flexible in terms of people are concerned, very egalitarian kind of a culture, and very, very stable culture basically. So we've been seeing people who've spent 10 years, 12 years, 15 years in the organization. Most leaders have spent over 10 years in the organization, and a lot of senior folks actually have been very stable. So that kind of brings the company to a stage where, people know what they're working on, people know the product very, very well. So they know what kind of situations that you can actually arise. You know what customers want, you know what your clients' needs are. So it's very easy for you to actually deliver, commit, and also give the kind of uninterrupted services to your clients basically.
So recent times, retaining the talent is the biggest challenge. But in your culture itself,
Absolutely.
you already
Yes, the solution to the problem lies in what kind of culture you actually establish, right? You give them the kind of empowerment that they need. They know that they are being part of the decision making. Inclusive culture is where people today's generation wants to be in. They want to be in a culture that is flexible. You talk about today, post COVID, people have started talking about remote working, the kind of hybrid working environment that also defines the culture today.
So you might be received many awards. There might be a many milestone. Some of the milestones are achievements you did or you consider out of that.
So some of the specific achievements and initiatives that I'm proud of would include my personal commit and expertise that I've actually given to 3 historic mergers in my career. As part of leadership intervention and inclusion and promoting a safe and ethical workplace, I have set up the leadership intervention campaign at Abhibus post its merger with Ixigo. As part of retention and talent acquisition and talent development strategy, I've been instrumental in setting up all of this post its merger with Host Analytics. And also, I've been a build expert for a company called PowerWave when it was doing $1 billion acquisition. So I have set up the entire process, the entire policies, and I've been analytical and technical expert, a build, operate, and transfer expert for its global acquisitions in Suzhou, Thailand, Hong Kong, Sweden, and Finland in their global acquisitions for PowerWave. PowerWave was a product company, and I was the first employee of outside of US operations. I was the first employee of India operations. I've set up their offices in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, and Delhi. And also globally, I was the build expert for them for the entire M&A process was concerned. So that way, I have a very niche skill set. HR with a very deep M&A experience is what I carry.
So great journey and wonderful milestones. Really, you started new initiatives and you achieved many things. So coming back to students, I want to listen your message to the people who completed their recent graduations, engineering people, to give you the context. Nowadays, getting a job is not a biggest thing, but getting the right job. Because if we start the career with in a right path, definitely they can achieve the best heights. So what is your suggestion? Some people will think first getting job, doing something is better than doing nothing. They will think in that way and they will start something.
Yeah.
Some people, they will try for the best job and they will wait patiently and start the best career. Which is the best thing out of these two paths?
So I think I suggest examine yourself, reflect on your goals, think about your long-term goals, not short-term goals, and then you will be able to pick the right career for yourself. I think rather than just deciding on whatever comes your way. Think about what you want to achieve. What are your ambitions? What are your goals? Reflect on yourself, on what your ambitions are, what are your long-term goals are, and then pick the right one.
When you recruit the people, what do you see the most? You give importance to domain knowledge or technical knowledge or career background or their attitude?
You know what? I have a little joke here. When I was first interviewed for Jet Airways, they asked me this question: what do you look for in a candidate if you have to pick the right one? I joked in the forum. I was very, very young. I joked in the forum stating that I would look for somebody who's physically fit and mentally sound. That's just a joke, jokes apart. I think I would look for whether they are a cultural fit. They are the right, skill set anyways is extremely important. I'm looking for somebody who would actually be the right fit for the job, for the right position and things like that. But culturally, are they fit for us? I would actually, in a way, let me rephrase it. I would look for somebody who's got the will over the skill. Skill can be trained, will cannot be trained. So that is what I would look for in somebody.
So rather than a skill, will is important.
A certain amount of skill is important, but do you have 100% skill? You may not be able to find somebody with 100% skill. But does he have 100% willingness to actually work, learn and grow with the organization? That is what is important, I think.
So career-wise, one more last question. So as I told earlier, getting a job is not a big thing nowadays. In olden days, everybody thought of, I got a job, that kind of surprises we saw. But
Yes.
nowadays, it's okay. People can get a job. But after getting a job, if they want to reach the best heights in their life, what are some of the tips you give to them?
Have the right work ethic, be on top of your game, never stop learning, be on constant lookout for what's up in the market, and those are extremely important.
So really perfect suggestions. If we follow these simple steps, definitely anybody can reach. Now coming back to your goal. So what are your future goals, madam? Now then, you already reached, traveled, did best career journey. So now at this point of time, what are your future goals?
Within the evolving landscape of HR, I would like to bring in a lot of impactful changes, and especially with the niche skill set that I have, wherein HR, along with rich mergers and acquisition experience that I actually hold. It's a very niche skill set, I feel, and with a lot of strong analytical background that I have, I would like to do a lot of other, I'd like to do a lot more and contribute to the global M&As and things like that. I want to I want to become a merger and acquisition expert. And also, along with it, I'd like to actually contribute and mentor a lot of future generations for the benefit of their careers and things like that, and also show them a path that I've learned with all my experience, expertise, learnings, and along the way, whatever I have brought in with me in terms of experience, I'd like to actually contribute to them as well. That's my goal moving forward.
So thank you very much for sharing all your journey and insights and your messages. Very soon you will reach your goals. You will become the global mergers and acquisition expert, and also, as you tell, you have an intention to train many
future
generations. So under you, many people will take those guidelines and they will reach their goals. Thank you very much for spending all
my
your
pleasure.
Valuable time with us.
Thank you for having me over. Thank you very much. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.